everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me in this live section. So guys, if you're new to this channel, do what to hit that subscribe button, like and share this video. So guys, IPOB has finally warned Omotosho, Justice James Omotosho, the judge presiding on Kanu's case, saying that he should obey the law, that 10th of October is the D-Day. They have warned him ahead of 10th October that if he fails to obey the law, that they're going to enter their defense. And you know what that means, guys? So they're wanting him to obey the law. If not, he's going to face some consequences. Or even the lawyer of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Maxwell, is not even in Nigeria. He was sent abroad. He from France. He went to Malaga to fight for Kanu's release. So guys, they're making international bodies be aware. They want them to be aware of how Nigerian government are persecuting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who has not done anything. They kept him in solitary confinement for 4 years, guys. So they're saying enough is enough. And now IPOB has finally warned Justice James Omotosho ahead of 10th October, to obey his law and do the right thing by releasing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So guys, on the 10th of October, Justice James Omotosho is going to rule on the no case submission, which Kanu's legal team filed, after the DSS witnesses. So now, it is time for Justice Omotosho to rule on the no case submission. Guys, I can't wait for that day. I can't wait for 10th of October to know what will happen, because we're expecting Justice Omotosho to release Kanu as he has not done anything. So guys, we're going to look deep. Guys, stay tuned, stay to the end of this live session, because I have a lot. Like I said, Maxwell is not in Nigeria. He went to France. From France, he went to Malaga. Let me play a video where he was in France. Guys, take a look.
Paris now for the crusade for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So from Paris here, France, we move to Spain, move to Austria, from Austria we move to Germany, from Germany we move to Belgium, which we campaigning, asking the federal government of Nigeria and the Nigerian Judiciary to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally. That's what we do.
So from France, he went to Malaga. Guys, take a look.
Yes. I have just entered Malaga here in Spain. Getting prepared to go and address the Igbos that are living in Europe. Their representatives have converged from all the countries in Europe here in Malaga. We are going to address them. In respect of the injustice Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been facing since 2014 in the hands of Nigeria. How Nnamdi Kanu was abducted from Kenya to Nigeria. How Nnamdi Kanu was facing injustice. How the Igbos have been killed as a result of their rights. So these are the things that brought me here in Spain to come and address them. And they are all waiting for me at the Malaga International Conference Center. We are going to address them. And you can see, so because of my regalia, how I dressed, you can see how the people around there are looking at me as a traditional chief. When you are going to address your people, you need to be in your regalia. I need to be in my traditional attire. And that was the reason why I'm here. Thank you. I will continue to update you. Thank you.
So guys, you see, from France, he's heading to Malaga, to tell the world how Nigerian government have been persecuting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So right now, Kanu's lawyers are ready. Nigerian government is going to get it hot, because enough is enough of this endless adjournment and endless trial of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Guys, in fact, we hope to see the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Just recently, IPOB has warned Omotosho ahead of the 10th of October when Kanu will appear in court. So now, guys, today on the 10th of October, the Federal High Court in Abuja will once again face a defining moment. Justice James Omotosho will deliver his ruling on the no case submission in the trial of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. This is not just another court today. This is a test of Nigerian judiciary. We're going to see if they will stand with truth, and if they release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. This is a test of integrity, of trust, of justice, and a test of history. The world is actually watching Justice James Omotosho. So all eyes on Justice James Omotosho, because we actually expect him to do the right thing in this case. Guys, for years, this is the pattern of injustice. For years, the Nigerian government has beat and broken its own law just to keep Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in unlawful detention. From the unlawful abduction in Kenya to the extraordinary redemption into Nigeria, the endless legal manipulation, this case has become a symbol of everything wrong with Nigerian so-called democracy. So judges are supposed to be the final defenders of justice, but too often, they have acted as mere messengers of the executive arm of government, as if they are being paid, to keep Kanu there. So we saw the disgraceful drama with Justice, the former Justice of Kanu, even Binta Nyako, and also we saw the miscarriage of Justice Lawal. Now all eyes are on Justice Omotosho. This ruling will not only decide the fate of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, it will decide the fate of Nigerian judiciary credibility. That is why 10th of October is the D-Day. So now, guys, the 5 undeniable legal facts of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is that you cannot create a crime with a civil paper. This is what IPOB are saying. The so-called proscription of IPOB was done with an expert order, a civil procedure, but criminal liability cannot be manufactured from a civil order. This is what IPOBs are saying. They're telling Justice Omotosho that you cannot use the same process meant for land disputes, just like using the same process you use for land disputes to brand millions of people as terrorists. That is what they are doing to Kanu, which is very wrong. Any charge built on that illegality is already dead on arrival. This is what IPOB is telling Justice Omotosho. And also, they are telling Justice Omotosho that you cannot try anyone under a dead or buried law. On October 13th, 2022, the Court of Appeal discharged Mazi Nnamdi Kanu completely. Before then, the Terrorism Prevention admitted that that the very law under which was, discharged was repealed and replaced on May 12th, 2022, guys. So a repealed law is like an expired medicine. It is useless. And that is the same thing Justice Binta Nyako and, later Justice Lawal, desperately trying to breathe life into corpse using dead laws for Kanu. If Justice Omotosho dares to continue with these charges, it will be nothing short of judicial abomination. So they are telling Justice Omotosho not to use dead laws. Binta Nyako used dead laws to try Kanu. Lawal also did it. So, we don't expect Omotosho to continue with these charges on the 10th of October. That is what IPOB is telling Justice Omotosho. Now quickly, let me just play a video for you guys to see how how they dealt with Kanu. His lawyer explained how they dealt with Kanu. So guys, take a look at this video.
So today I'm wearing 2 hats. I'm speaking on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu. I'm also speaking on my own behalf. My name is Aloy Ejimako. I'm the special counsel to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the indigenous people of Biafra. And I'm speaking to you from a location in Nigeria. The man, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is well known. He's everywhere. He's on Wikipedia. He's an internationally acclaimed freedom fighter. But there's just a few things I need to tell you about him. What brought him to limelight was the formation of the indigenous people of Biafra in the United Kingdom in 2012. Simultaneously, he also founded Radio Biafra. And these 2 organizations were aimed at one thing: liberation for the people of Biafra, or restoration of the former Republic of Biafra that went defunct in 1970. The right to self-determination is a right that is guaranteed internationally, domestically, and continentally. It's within the black letters of Nigerian law at Article 20 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. The right to self-determination is guaranteed. So the formation of IPOB did not break any law. Not laws of United Kingdom, not international law, not Nigerian law. But guess what? When Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who was born in Nigeria, but who acquired British citizenship later on, came to Nigeria in October 2015, the government of President Muhammadu Buhari, which had come to power in May, decided to arrest him. He was not arrested between 2012 and 2015 because the government of the day at that time understood that self-determination is not a crime. But the government that came into power in 2015 in May decided that self-determination is going to be treated as a criminal activity. So he was arrested in Lagos. He was charged for treason, also for insulting the president and illegal importation of ready equipment. 3 charges. The treason one, they split it into 2, treason by himself and treason by conspiracy. This thing went on from 2015 until April 2017, when he was eventually granted bail. So he was detained for nearly 18 months. After granting him bail, he returned to his ancestral home in the southeastern part of Nigeria, and he was enjoying his bail when suddenly, between 10 September and 14 September 2017, the Nigerian army, without any justification whatsoever, levied lethal, massive military operations against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's ancestral home. That day, he was sitting at home with so many people, his family members, including his 2 elderly parents. The attack was lightning, it was a bleak range, it was massive, and it was not the type of an attack you will expect a national military force to levy on a civilian location. But they did. At the end of the day, 28 people lost their lives. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu sustained injuries. His parents sustained injuries as well. But somehow, by the grace of God, they all managed to escape. From there, the rest is history. And because there was a national and international manhunt for him by the security forces, which rules of engagement was to shoot, not to maim. If you see Nnamdi Kanu, if you encounter him anywhere, shoot not to maim, but shoot to kill. That's what they went there to do on 10 September, but they didn't succeed. But it went on. They went on in a manhunt. So Nnamdi Kanu was forced to flee the municipal boundaries of Nigeria in search of safe haven overseas. Eventually, in May 2021, he settled in Kenya. He entered Nairobi and settled in Kenya somewhere. He never knew that Nigerian security forces, the international branch of it, were laying in wait for him. They laid an ambush for him. So on 19th June 2021, he drove himself to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport on a personal errand. As soon as he drove into the parking lot and alighted from his vehicle, several well-armed security men suspected to be of a mixture of Nigerian and Kenyan security forces swooped on him, grabbed him, abducted him, and put him forcibly in a vehicle and drove away. Well, they didn't take him to the police station. They didn't take him to immigration because he was a foreigner. He should have been taken to immigration. They didn't take him to any official law enforcement facility. They took him to a secret location in Nairobi, a non-official secret location. So in effect, they disappeared him. And they kept him at that secret location for a whole 8 days. And those 8 days he endured horrendous torture. All these are matters of record between the various tribunals and courts before whom this matter has been brought. I cannot begin to give you all the details. Horrendous torture in violation of basic human rights, in violation of the laws of Kenya, Nigeria, and the international community. When Nnamdi Kanu was abducted on 19th June 2021, the proper thing that should have been done is to take him to a police station, from there to a court. And then if you wanted him back in Nigeria, you subject him to what is called extradition proceedings. This is a basic tenet of the law that you see in the laws of any nation. Kenya has an extradition act to which Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should have been subjected. But guess what? They didn't do that. They rather disappeared him for 8 days, tortured him to their heart's content. And on 27th June, they secretly brought him out from this location and took him through the back doors, evading Kenyan immigration, direct to the tarmac of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, Nairobi, where a private plane was waiting. They bundled him into the plane, chained him to the chair, and everything. He endured 5-6 hours flight from Nairobi to Kenya in the most excruciating circumstances. They arrived in Nigeria late in the evening and the plane flew back to Nairobi. They took him to the headquarters of the National Intelligence Agency in Abuja, where he spent the first night with all the lights left on to assure his maximum discomfort. The following day, they transferred him to the headquarters of Directorate of State Security in Abuja. And on the third day, they brought him before the Federal High Court in Abuja. The Federal High Court was well aware that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has counsel of record. It was an open case, it wasn't a new case, a pre-existing case. But the Federal High Court decided to conduct the arraignment in violation of his constitutional right to counsel, and that arraignment led to the indefinite detention with which we are struggling today. Anyways, taking you back a few steps, the little military invasion of 2017 was not unrequited, judicially speaking. I took the matter before two tribunals, or a tribunal and a court. First, I took it to the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, which rendered a decision in March 2018 condemning the action and calling it a violation of the African Charter. And they wrote to the President of Nigeria, they wrote a letter to the President of Nigeria requesting him or directing him. They used diplomatic language, but the decision was there that what you did is wrong, so you need to roll it back. You need to reverse everything you have done, which includes declaration of IPOB as a terrorist organization and hounding their members as criminals. The African Commission held that what Nigerian government was doing was persecution, not prosecution. That the IPOB and its members simply possess an inconvenient political opinion which the Nigerian government was seeking to suppress by means of punishment of some sort. And they asked or directed Nigerian government to reverse itself. Nigerian government never did. Rather, it escalated. Well, subsequently, I went to a local court, a high court in Abia State in eastern Nigeria. I sued the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Nigerian Army, and other parties who were confederates in that attack of September 2017. And in January 2022, fortunately for us, we won. The High Court made an order. The High Court reached a judgment that what happened to Nnamdi Kanu in September 2017 was a flagrant violation of his constitutional right to life and constitutional right to his privacy. And the court proceeded to make an order ordering the federal government of Nigeria or Federal Republic of Nigeria to pay him a compensation of 1 billion Nigerian naira, which is over $1 million US. The court also ordered the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the President of Nigeria to issue a public apology to be published in 3 national Nigerian newspapers to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. None of this has happened. So we kept that aside. So when they brought Mazi Nnamdi Kanu forcibly from Kenya without extradition proceedings, I characterized it an act of extraordinary rendition. Initially, there was a misunderstanding, a broad, wide spread misunderstanding by vast majorities of Nigerians who were mouthing the cliche, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu extradited from Kenya. No, that was wrong. He wasn't. I told people he wasn't. He was extraordinarily renditioned or rendered, and that is against international law, Kenyan law, and laws of the Federation of Nigeria. So while his criminal trial was making its way slowly at Abuja, with all the several amendments the government was bringing, they walked away from treasonable felony, insulting the president, importation of radio equipment, and bam, to terrorism. That's how it happened. And they did this 7 times. 7 amendments. If Nnamdi Kanu was guilty, why is it taking so long to bring him to trial between 2015 and today? That is 8 years. So what he's undergoing is not really a judicial trial. It's a trial by ordeal. Trial by fire. Imprisonment before conviction. They just want to get as many years of jail time out of him as possible, because they know that with the evidence available, conviction will be impossible. And that was made worse by the extraordinary rendition, which I took also as a civil violation to a federal high court in Nigeria. And in October 2022, the federal high court came down with a judgment that extraordinary rendition was a violation of his constitutional rights, his fundamental rights, and they awarded him 500 million Nigerian naira. That's about $800,000. So all around, everywhere that this matter has gone to, including in July 2022, before the Human Rights Council at the United Nations. The Human Rights Council, United Nations, came down with an opinion that what happened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya and that brought him to Nigeria is a very grave violation of international law. And they directed that he should be released unconditionally. And of course, the Court of Appeal in Nigeria did come down with a similar judgment in same October 2022, discharging Mazi Nnamdi Kanu of all charges and bearing any further trial of his person in any court in Nigeria as a consequence, as a direct consequence of the extraordinary rendition. So what more can you ask for a man to deserve his freedom? How many have I counted? United Nations, which in this case should be considered a world court. Then you have the Nigerian Court of Appeal, which is the second highest court in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Then you have the Federal High Court, which is the court of first instance at the federal level. And of course, you have the State High Court that awarded him 1 billion Nigerian naira. So between 2015 and today, 8 years and running, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has snagged 4 major victories against the Federal Republic of Nigeria, with Federal Republic of Nigeria winning nothing. What more do you need as stark evidence, affirmative evidence that what is happening here, ladies and gentlemen, is an act of persecution, not prosecution? It's time to end it. On his behalf, I will ask all men and women of goodwill everywhere in the world to speak up. There was this saying about Jews. When they came for the Jew, you said nothing. When they came for the Jew, you said nothing because you're a trade unionist. Then when they came for the trade unionist, you say, well, I'm a scientist. You said nothing. They took the Jew, they took the trade unionist, and then when they came for the scientists, nobody spoke for you. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a poster boy for all the injustices that a great race, the Igbo people, and their cousins in the former eastern Nigeria have been subjected to since the founding of Nigeria. These injustices became more public because since 2015 they have been escalated. So how do you fight back? You fight back by telling the system, I want out. I want my own country is not a crime. It does not require a bullet. It doesn't require muscular military law enforcement. What it requires is sitting across the table and talking about it. A lot of nations have been founded on referendum. That's what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the Indigenous people of Biafra were asking for. That led to all this conundrum, to all this saga.
When the president calm down, the reason Nnamdi Kanu have a discussion with him. You have been having a discussion with bandits and the so-called repentant Boko Haram. Tell me the offense of Nnamdi Kanu, because he's agitating for self-determination, which is his own constitutional fundamental rights granted to him by the constitution and the law.
Well, the government's angle is not because of the agitation, because they know that everyone has a right to agitate, but they said the way he was going about it, like and then people were being incited. Well, that's even not what I'm
what of the one the wife of the president incited people during the election? The wife of the president, he incited people that Igbo should go. What of the one of Lagos said that Igbo should go and fall into lagoon? What of those that came out and said that Igbos will not vote? If you are not voting for APC, you will not vote. What happened to them? Has anybody been arrested? That Nnamdi Kanu said something, then you now term that thing he said as is a terrorist, is a crime of terrorism. You charge him for terrorism. His own lawful organization that is registered in almost all the whole countries in America and Europe and Asia, and you now came to Nigeria, you term it a terrorist organization. Now you are now saying that now that IPOB is being recognized in almost all the whole countries, America and Europe. So you are now saying that America, France, Germany, they are recognizing a terrorist organization because you don't want anybody to agitate. You want to suppress anybody. If you talk, kill him, suppress him, jail him. In a country that is predicated on constitutional governance, it cannot work like that.
Okay, let's get back to the ministerial nomination of Bianca Ojukwu, because you said he took away one from Anambra and brought in another. But remember that the president took away the minister based on the KPI results that came out, which he was not even the one, that did the evaluation. It was the result given to him, with which he did that, meaning that if actually the minister had performed, above board in the KPI, they wouldn't have had any reason to remove her rather.
Now, still on that ministerial list, we have 48 of them, am I right? And we have 36 states in this country, including FCT 37. So, apart from Southeast, that have only 5, every other region have more than 6, apart from Southeast. Now, check since 1999, we have been having series of presidents. Let's use what is going on now. The president is from where? Vice is from where? Speaker is from where? Senate President is from where? CJN is from where? Court of Appeal President is from where? National Industrial Court President is from where? Chief Judge of Federal High Court is from where? And they are saying that the people of Southeast belongs to this country.
Are you sure Max, are you sure you're not? I mean, it's just like what I said too. I mean, isn't it time we started to be less sentimental about this diversity?
We have to apply it now. We are saying that the only people that are qualified to hold on this position, nobody from South is qualified. On what basis?
Are you sure that there's
the chief of Naval Staff is from the Southeast? Huh? The chief of Naval Staff?
From where? I'm talking about the key position. Number 1 person, number 2 person, number 3 person, number 4 person, number 5 person. The key position, we have 3 arms of government: the executive, the judiciary, and the parliament. You can never see anybody from Southeast there. Now, the point we are talking about is that when I'm not even talking about, I'm in court about lopsided appointments.
Okay.
I can avail that my process because I did an intensive research in that process. File it, asking court to view whether this particular appointment, whether this particular governance is in line with Federal Character Establishment Act, an act of National Assembly. that say that you should carry everybody along. Section 14 of the Constitution also say that you should carry everybody along. And we are not doing all these things. You are telling me that, yes, now that you have removed Kennedy Hanele and you are now brought in Janko Juku, that the people of Southeast will jubilate. Are you talking to idiots? Look at the people that you are talking about. Check, let me start with the source. In football, the people that have made Nigeria proud are the people of Southeast. In commerce, in aviation industry, name it. In academics, they are from people of Southeast. But when it comes to power, they are not qualified. And we want them to be happy. Listen, let me tell you, like today that is Monday, go to Southeast. And my annoyance is that these things are avoidable for Christ's sake. The one at Niger, they listen and the Kalu. Let us start addressing this issue. This early morning, somebody sent me a clip, something they posted that they said from, I think they said next week, maybe the next 2 weeks, that there will be nothing like federal courts in the whole of Southeast. What do I mean by federal court? Federal courts, National Industrial Court is a federal court. Federal High Court is a federal court. Court of Appeal is a federal court. Now, the people the judges that are there, most of them are not Igbos. Majority of them are not Igbos. How should you risk somebody to go and preside in the Court of Appeal or the Judicial Division, Oka Judicial Division, Enugu Judicial Division? How can you appoint somebody to go and preside in Federal High Court in the Southeast, National Industrial Court in the Southeast? And we are not even thinking about all this, and the judges are not even thinking about So the point we are talking about is that when there is a problem, look for a solution. Personally, somebody like us, we are not even, I'm defending Nnamdi Kanu, one of his lawyers. So when they say so you people are not doing what you're supposed to do, the person that is calling you, don't even know him. He's using a hidden number to call you. You don't even know what they're talking about. The only thing that is that you went to court and you were unable to bring Nnamdi Kanu out. What even say?
Okay, Maxwell, let me ask you this, because from what you're saying, I've also heard IPOB many times deny, allegations of being involved in some of the killings that happen in the Southeast and some of the, the ills that we see in the society. Even the sit-at-home in question, IPOB has also claimed that he has not asked anybody to sit at home. I don't know, get my point. So the point I'm making is that from what you're saying, it would look as if what you're actually trying to say is that it's because Nnamdi is being held,
yes,
that is why the ills in the society in the Southeast has escalated. Does it have anything to do with him? That is what you're saying.
Do you know why? Nnamdi Kanu, IPOB is his initiative. He established it, he organized it. Now when you now kidnapped him or adopted him, and unlawfully, because the Supreme Court have said that he was unlawfully brought into this country, and you kept him incommunicado, everybody on his own. This one we kill, you said at IPOB. This one we maim, he said at IPOB. Everybody on his own. That's why I asked you the question, who is IPOB? The IPOB is Nnamdi Kanu. So Nnamdi Kanu, if Nnamdi Kanu is out, you will know who is who. Simon Ekpa will talk his own, Emma Powerful will talk his own, this one will talk his own, this one. Who is IPOB? That you are even talking. Simon Ekpa is in Finland. Emma Powerful, I don't know where he's operating from. Another person is operating from somewhere. Issuing threats. Just like the one somebody told me. I don't even know where that one is coming from. So the easiest way to do is the one that you know. Nnamdi Kanu. Then tell Attorney General, as he discontinue the charges against the president of Mieti Ala Kato, discontinue that of Showore, they are all terrorism. Tell them to discontinue that of Nnamdi Kanu, and allow Nnamdi Kanu to agitate. It is his right. I told you the other day.
You see, that's where the problem is, really. The guarantee, that there will not be problems, even if Nnamdi Kanu is, because you're saying allow him to agitate, and he goes about it the way he used to, like, the government have actually feared. That may also create more problems, don't you think?
Let me tell you, there are some things that you asked me the other day whether they are talking about condition giving Nnamdi Kanu. I told you one question. I said, if you give Nnamdi Kanu condition that he feel after meeting up that condition, he will still live like a human being, so be it. But when you give him condition and you are removing that made him a human being, he will tell you no. What is that made you a human being? That thing that makes you a human being is your ability to exercise your fundamental rights. And when somebody said, now I'm going to employ you here, I'll be paying you $500,000 every month, but you will not talk, you will not move out, you say, do away with your job. When somebody said, I'm going to release you, but I'll cut one of your hands, say no. The agitation for self-determination is a fundamental right. And if you people fail to understand it, I can agitate that I need the Republic of Maxwell. It is my right. Anybody can agitate. I don't even need people, crowd to follow me. It is when you now feel that you have gotten the necessary, the necessary, need the necessary qualities, then so be it. It is now left for the president who believe in democracy, who believe in government of the people by the people, to apply an initiative. What is the initiative? Release the person. Start addressing all those issues that gave rise to this agitation. It has been there. Uwazirike was agitating during Obasanjo. A lot of people were agitating. So now that you have arrested, you come down Uwazirike that time. Nnamdi Kanu came up. Now that you have arrested Nnamdi Kanu, Simon Ekpa is there. I think this data from Ned Nwoko was telling you that even if you arrest Simon Ekpa today, another Simon Ekpa will come out. So the issue there is that address all those issues.
Right. So for you, it's not about ministerial appointment.
No. That one. Okay, that is the complete distraction. That one should even come in. Okay. After turning in now, let Bianca come and address the Igbos in Enugu.
All right.
So, guys, you can see that this case is not all about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Yes, because guys, remember when Wazirike was actually agitated, just like what Maxwell said with Kanu's lawyer. Now Simon Ekpa was also agitating. They went Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they went after him. Simon Ekpa came up, they went after him. So it's not even about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The truth is that you see this Biafra movement, You cannot defeat it. It's undefeatable. You cannot defeat it. You can actually silence people agitating, but you cannot. The more you're silencing, the more people are coming up. The more you're raising people to finish what they have started. So what you have to do is to just, what Nigerian government needs to do is to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and address the root cause of the agitation and not all this unnecessary noise, not all this unnecessary noise, all this unnecessary adjournment, this endless trial. So, guys, remember I said that IPOB has won the Omotosho ahead of the 10th of October. That's the date when Kanu is going to appear in court. So, guys, what Kanu's lawyers are saying is, or what IPOB are saying is that the proscription of IPOB was done with an expert order. And they're arguing that that's a civil procedure, but criminal liability cannot be manufactured from a civil order. So I don't know if you guys understand. This is what IPOB are saying. It's just like using something that is meant for land dispute and using it to brand somebody a terrorist. So they're using the wrong. Will I say they're using the wrong charges? According to them, they said the IPOB proscription was done with an expert order, a civil procedure. But when it comes to, criminal liability, you cannot use civil order for it. That is what they are saying. You cannot use the same process meant for land disputes to brand millions of people as terrorists. Any charge built on that is illegality and is already dead on arrival. This is what IPOB are arguing. And then secondly, IPOB are saying that you cannot try anyone under a dead law or a buried law. On October 13th, 2022, the Court of Appeal discharged Mazi Nnamdi Kanu completely. Before then, the Terrorism Prevention Amendments Act of 2013, the very law under which he was charged, was repealed and replaced on May 13th, 2022. So guys, you can see that the law is already dead. A repealed law is like an expired medicine. It is useless. Yet, Binta Nyako and later Lawal desperately, they're trying to breathe life into a dead law. Just like what they are doing is just trying to breathe life into a corpse. That is how they are just handling Kanu's case, using dead law to try him. If Justice Omotosho dares to continue with these charges, it will be nothing short of judicial abomination. So guys, if you have anything to say, drop it under the comment section. Let's talk about it. So in a criminal trial, there must be a foundation. This is what Kanu's lawyer is saying. There must be a foundation, a credible investigation. Guys, where is the investigation report? All these people that actually branded Kanu a terrorist. I'm just like looking at them. It's actually fine if you can wake up in the morning and then point hands at someone saying the person is a terrorist. But where is the investigation? Where is the investigation? Guys, there's no foundation. There's no foundation of this his case. A credible investigation, there is no credible investigation. Where is the investigation report? Where is the evidence of inquiry? The DSS has produced nothing. A case without investigation is like a house built on a thin air. It collapses before it even begins. It collapses before it begins. So you can see, you call this man a terrorist. You don't even have a credible evidence that he's a terrorist. So why are you keeping him there, dragging him to court every now and then? Guys, the charges alleged incitement, intimidation, and threats. Yet no Nigerian has come forward to testify that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu incited or intimidated them. Not a single witness, not a single victim. So why are they still keeping Mazi Nnamdi Kanu there? They said he incited, he intimidated, and he did this. Yet no civilian, not even a Nigerian soldier, has come forward to testify that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu incited or intimidated them. Not even a single witness. Even the so-called DSS witness they did, none of them can prove that Kanu did this. Not even a single victim. This case, rests on alleged broadcast, guys, but nobody has testified under oath that they heard this broadcast live or suffered harm because of them. You see, this Kanu's case is alleged broadcast. They are only alleged. It's only allegedly, guys. But nobody has testified under oath that they heard this broadcast live or suffered harm because of them. Nobody have said anything like that. Without a victim or without a witness, what exactly is the crime? This case is nothing more than a ghost story told by DSS. A ghost story told by DSS. That is just it. The DSS has presented video clips and broadcast, but all of them are heavily edited. That is what, according to what the lawyers, Kanu always tell you that these things are all hired. No independent expert has verified their authenticity. Now, let me tell you, there was a time DSS, when they were, testifying, they were relying on on social media, what Vanguard posted. They're not even relying on what they investigated, guys. You can see, Nigerian law is clear. Tampered evidence is inadmissible. You cannot convict a man on manipulated recordings. If such evidence were to stand, then no Nigeria would ever be safe again. That is just it. Justice Omotosho, the choice before you is actually very clear. Your ruling on October 10th, you define your legacy. You'll be remembered as the judge who stood tall and defended the rule of law. Or you'll be remembered as yet another accomplice in Nigeria's long history of judicial corruption and political proscription. Just obey your law. The law gives you no doubt. See, like I always say, you see this Kanu's case, you don't need anybody, you don't need Tinubu, it's the judge presiding that will decide. If the judge refuses to obey the law, everything is on the judge. It's the judge that will agree to bow to pressure, to obey what any or to be distracted. So everything is on the judge. Don't even call me self. I don't even want to involve the president into this case, although his administration actually invaded the detention of a man illegally. So, but the truth is that but Justice Omotosho was, a judge that, how will I put it? A judge that is not corrupt, a judge that will not bend to pressure, to distractions. Kanu would have been released. In fact, long time ago. If the Nigerian judiciary system is not corrupt, Kanu would have been released long time ago. Dismiss all charges against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and order his immediate release. Anything less will open a declaration that the Nigerian judiciary is dead. This is what we want. This is what we want the outcome. What we want the outcome to be on the 10th of October. To the Nigerian public and to the lovers of freedom across Africa, to the international community, remain vigilant. We must not allow this proscription to continue in silence, or persecution to continue in silence. The case against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is dead in law, rotten in fact, and disgraceful in practice. The world must hold Nigeria accountable International organization, human rights defenders, and global institution must rise to this occasion. Silence is the face of injustice, it's complicit. So Kanu's lawyer has gone out. He's abroad right now after the NBA conference held in Enugu. He left to France to tell the world how Nigerian government has been keeping this innocent man in bondage. Take a look at the video when he was in France and in Malaga, and I'll continue. Take a look.
Arrived Paris now for a crusade for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So from Paris here, France, we move to Spain, from Spain, we move to Austria, from Austria, we move to Germany, from Germany, we move to Belgium, which we campaigning, asking the federal government of Nigeria and the Nigerian Judiciary to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally. Unconditionally. That's what we see.
So, guys, that was when he arrived France, and this is where he arrived. When he arrived Malaga, take a look.
Yes, I have just entered Malaga here in Spain. Getting prepared to go and address the Igbos that are living in Europe. Their representatives have converged from all the countries in Europe here in Malaga. We are going to address them in respect of the injustice Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been facing since 2014 in the hands of Nigeria. How Nnamdi Kanu was abducted from Kenya to Nigeria. How Nnamdi Kanu was not seeking justice. How the Igbos have been killed as a result of their rights. So these are the things that brought me here in Spain to come and address them. And they are all waiting for me at the Malaga International Conference Center. We are going to address them. And you can see, so because of my regalia, how I dressed, you can see how the people around there are looking at me as a traditional chief. When you are going to address your people, you need to be in your regalia. I need to be in my traditional attire. And that was the reason why I'm here. Thank you. I will continue to update you. Thank you.
So, guys, you heard what the lawyer said. He's, enough is enough to all this, endless detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, endless trial. So, my fellow Biafrans, lovers of truth and justice, the time for silence is over. This is what Kanu's lawyer said. The time for action is now. On October 10th, 2025, the world will either witness justice or witness another dark chapter in Nigerian's judicial or Nigerian's failed judiciary. But let it be known that history will not forgive and, will not forgive, will not also forget. Justice Omotosho must prevail. Free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, free Biafra, let justice reign. That is justice. Now, guys, let's not forget the extraordinary redemption of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was adopted. This is one thing Kanu's lawyer, took outside to tell the world how they treated this man. How even terrorists in Nigeria, they don't treat them like this. People that have been buying millions of people, they don't handle them like this. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was adopted in Kenya and illegally redemption to Nigeria in June 2021 without following any known extradition treaty or due process. Under international law, such an act automatically voids any trial because the court cannot benefit from illegality. Automatically, his trial is invalid. So why is Kanu being tried in court today? You see, Nigeria violated not only its own law, but also international conventions it signed. Just the most must recognize this fatal defeat. They must, I keep on asking myself, why is he not talking about this, that the father Kanu was adopted? Why? The Court of Appeal in 2022 already discharged and acquitted Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, trying to resurrect the same charges amounts to double jeopardy, which is actually unlawful. The Nigerian Constitution under Section 36, Chapter 9, it's very clear, no person shall be tried twice for the same offense. If Omotosho ignores this, he's not only breaking Nigerian law, but, he's also violating the Constitution he swore to uphold. You see, when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was granted bail in 2017, the Nigerian army invaded his home in Abia State, killing scores of unarmed civilians. Even, that brutally invasion forced him to exile. To now claim he jumped bail. It's actually dishonest and cruel, guys, because the state itself made it possible. It made it possible for him to appear in court. You cannot punish a man for fleeing from an assassination attempt. Justice must recognize this contempt because of a flee from the attack. They now said he jumped bail. Guys, so you want him to remain in that condition and for those people to buy him. By forcibly bringing Kano into Nigeria, the government breached international law. Courts are not supposed to assume this jurisdiction over a person obtained illegally. Justice Omotosho must admit the obvious. A trial cannot continue when the very process of beginning the defendant to court was itself bringing the person. The very process of bringing the person to court is actually illegal or unlawful. The trial cannot continue. Bandits, leaders, Boko Haram terrorists, and unknown Fulani militias are walking free. Many have been granted amnesty, dialogue, and even reintegration into the society. Yet a man whose only weapon is a microphone and the truth is being detained without trial. Guys, you can see the double standard, guys. It makes Nigerian justice system a laughing stock before international community. And that is what, Maxwell Okpara has gone to do. To tell the world how they treated this man. Every charges against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is tied to his speeches. Every charges against him is tied to his speeches, broadcast, and even political views. But freedom of expression is a fundamental right under Nigerian constitution and international covenants, such as the African chapter of Human and People's Rights. Criminalizing speech sets a dangerous precedent. Today, it's Kanu. Tomorrow, it could be any Nigerian who dares to criticize the government. So the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention ruled in July 2022, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must be released unconditionally. Nigerian courts themselves has issued rulings affirming his release. Yet the government has stubbornly ignored all of them, guys. This opens defiance of both domestic and international ruling, makes the judiciary look like a puppet. Yes, now, Justice Omotosho must not add his name to that shameful list. He should do the right thing on 10th of October. The Nigerian judiciary is hanging by a thread. From electoral tribunal controversies to blatant political interference, public trust is collapsing. If Omotosho fails to do justice in this case, the little credibility left will vanish completely, and judges must remember when the law dies, society descends into chaos. That's just it. They will automatically be, very violent. Dragging Mazi Nnamdi Kanu through endless trials with charges that kept collapsing is a textbook case of abuse of court process. Nigerian law frowns at repeated relitigation of already settled issues. Justice Omotosho must strike out these cases, the ones that have already, the cases, because Kanu, they actually struck out some cases, but then they resurrected it again. So Justice Omotosho must strike out this case to preserve the sanctity of the court, guys. Let's not forget Section 36 of the Nigerian Constitution that guarantees every citizen right to fair hearing. But how can there be a fair hearing when the prosecution has no evidence, has no witness, and no investigation? Continue this trial mocks the Constitution itself. Everyone knows this case is not about law, but it's about silencing the voice of truth. The government fears Kanu's message, not any crime. He has not committed any crime, just that they are scared of him. They are scared of his message. Justice must separate politics from law. If political pressure is allowed to detect rulings, then the judiciary ceases to exist as an independent arm of government. That is it. Higher court has already spoken. The Court of Appeal discharged Kanu. A lower court like Omotosho can't overrule the appellate court to proceed, otherwise would be a judicial recklessness. Justice Omotosho should know this and do the right thing on the 10th of October. They are finally, this is the final warning of Justice Omotosho. This is what IPOB is, they said this is the final warning to Justice Omotosho to do the right thing. Every action of the judiciary is being monitored by foreign governments, even rights group and international media. If Nigeria continues to defy its own courts and international rulings, it sends a message that Nigeria is a lawless state. This damages investment. This damages investment and diplomacy and global respect. It sends a message that Nigeria is a lawless state. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's health is actually deteriorating in DSS detention. Yes, he's a strong man, but his health is deteriorating. He's a human being. He's not an animal. International human rights provides that an accused person, especially one unlawfully detained, must not be subjected to condition that threatens life or dignity. Continue to hold Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not only illegal, but it's inhuman, guys. When it comes to corrupt politicians, the courts are quick to grant endless adjournments and soft rulings. When it's case like Boko Haram, the government negotiates. But when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the judiciary suddenly becomes rigid, guys. This selective silence erodes every moral standing of the court. Nigeria is signatory to African chapter on human and people's rights. That chapter guarantees self-determination, freedom of expression, and fair trial. So why are they treating Kanu differently? They are violating African chapter on human and people's rights. It guarantees self-determination, which Kanu asked for, demanded for. That Kanu spoke. He spoke with his microphone. Is it a crime? It is guaranteed under a Nigeria government. Nigeria is signatory to these things. It is guaranteed under African chapter on human and people's rights. So why are they holding Kanu? By trying to criminalize IPOB or persecuting its leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Nigeria is violating its own binding treaty obligation. That's just it. So guys, look at currently we heard that they said what's their name again? APC and PDP are criminal. They call them they said they are terrorists. The Canadian court said that these political parties are terrorists. Now, what have they done? All these lawyers, NJC, what have they all had this headline? What have they done? Even when these Canadian courts actually said they have evidence, they came out and said something controversial as this. They all relaxed when there are actually evidence, because they said that there have been electoral malpractice, election violence and all of that. They actually declared that these two dominant political parties in Nigeria are terrorists. They didn't do anything. They just relaxed. But look at Kanu. There's no evidence that this man has done anything. There's no investigation. There's no evidence. There's no proof that this man has done anything. They locked him up. You can see what is happening in this country. Canada brought something as controversial as this, as big as this, saying these people are terrorists, and they kept silent. They kept silent. When it's Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you see all of them. When Simeon Ekpa was arrested, Tinubu praised Finland. When there's no even an incredible, they have not even made an investigation that this one is a terrorist. No investigation. They're already going to praise him, as if they just want to hold these two people down. See, I keep on saying this thing. This is not even about Simeon Ekpa or Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It's just that the Igbos have been persecuted for so long. Yes, they have been marginalized for so long. It's not even about, you guys should actually look at this case, look at it in the right way. It's not about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu or Simeon Ekpa or anyone agitating or the lawyers. It's about the Igbos. See, this particular tribe have seen a lot. That is why these people started agitating. They treat them like class citizens. After everything that happened during the Biafran War, there is no compensation, nothing. They keep on marginalizing the Igbos even up to date, guys. So even if you silence Mazi Nnamdi, because I've seen effort, Nigerian government are trying all they can do to silence that man. The fact that they went to Kenya to adopt him, That is illegal. That is actually a calculated effort. Like, even Nigerian government cannot do this thing to terrorists, even if truly, okay, there's a terrorist. There's this terrorist, that is in Kenya. That is not Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Would you think that Nigerian government would do, go that extra mile to adopt him? So it's not about Kanu. It's about, you cannot silence this movement. Even if you try and silence Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, another person will come. Is this what you guys will keep doing? Is it what Nigerian government will keep doing? If you like, let 100 come up. If you like, silence it. 1 million will still come up. So you see, there's no need. You're just wasting your strength. Igbos, the Igbo is one tribe. They are peaceful. It's just that you don't want to treat them like partner. You don't want to treat them well. That is why they said, let's have our own. Let's be on our own then. I don't know if you guys understand it. So it's not about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It's not about Simeon. It's not even about if you like him or not. The truth is that address the root cause. Nobody wants secession. In fact, right now, everybody wants to even divide. But as then, everybody wants oneness. So guys, you can see, it's not even about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Address the root cause. All this is not about guns, or it's not. I don't know why this Kanu's case, is becoming, how will I even put it? It's like spreading like wildfire, becoming another thing. Something that you will just address. Just address it. It's not something that you start raising bullets. I even heard they went to his house in what's it called? His house, hometown in Abia State, and bite some people. Why? What for? This man started agitating because of Igbos had been treated like last class citizens, not even second class citizens. So why can't you just address? Your mind should tell you that this man started agitating because of how they are treating the Igbos. So why can't you just address it? This is not about violence. Just resolve all this case, release Mazi Nnamdi, let peace reign. Even Maxwell said that you guys negotiate with bandits. Is it Kanu that negotiate with? You see, you guys negotiate with bandits. Is it Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that negotiate with? So that is just the point. You can silence Kanu. Is a human being. You can try all you want to do and keep him there, keep him there. But if you silence Kanu, another person will rise up. Another person, somebody stronger than Kanu will come up. Is this what you keep doing? Is this how you keep? Is this how you keep? Is this what you will still be doing? Do the needful. Release even the nuts. APC people, what's the outside people are saying? Release this man. Release this man. Terrorists, they don't even jail terrorists. What they do is to reintegrate them, rehab them, rehabilitate them. So why is Kanu's case different if you call him a terrorist? And there's no even proof that he's a terrorist. So why are you keeping him there? Kanu has not been convicted to any crime, but look at him in detention. If Justice Omotosho adjourns this case, God, I can't even wait for 10th of October. Because Kanu was supposed to, in fact, he was in court, I think 18th of July. They adjourned it to 10th of October. If they adjourn this case again, it won't be funny. It won't be funny at all. If they adjourn this case, like when they adjourned it on July 18th, when they adjourned it to, I cried. Look at us that was waiting for for them to release Kanu, because his legal team signed and they submitted no case, they ruled on no case submission. So we're expecting on the 18th of July for them for the judge to rule on the no case submission, not for the judge to come and say that he's going for vacation. But they adjourned it to 10th of October. I cried. So what is all this? So this man will remain there again for an extra two months again. And now on the 10th of October, if Justice Omotosho adjourn this case again, it's not going to be funny. This is a human being. He's not a chicken. How can you keep a man's life hanging and you're enjoying what's it called? You're enjoying vacation with your family. A man that there is no evidence that is a terrorist. You have not gotten a credible evidence that this man is a terrorist, and you're keeping him in detention. It's just like accusing someone and then the person has not been convicted to any crime. So why you keep it for 4 years? Going to 5 years. Can you see the persecution? Kanu's lawyer has gone because I feel this case is actually Nigeria cannot handle it. Yes, if you keep trying Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Nigeria, even Nigerian government knows that they don't have any jurisdiction. No court. Kanu has said it, no court in Nigeria has any jurisdiction to try him. So right now, they're taking this case outside. Kanu's lawyer has actually gone outside, to call on international bodies to come and see what is going on here, how they are treating Kanu. So guys, let's see how it will be. I can't wait for 10th of October. Let's see the outcome. So let me take some comments here. If you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. Somebody said, some of your Igbo brothers have hands in keeping him in jail. We can't even doubt that, because there was even this ex-soldier that came out to say that governors in the southeast, their hand is in it. We can't even doubt that, because we have been seeing people coming out to say something like this. That is just it. Betrayal just for selfish gain, just to how will I put it? Just for how will I to get favor from Aso Rock. That's just it. Somebody said, Mazi Prophet Nnamdi Kanu should be free. He's not a criminal. He's not a criminal. I don't know if you guys understand it. The thing is, if Kanu is a criminal, let them come and let us see. Or let his case, if he's a terrorist, let his case go the normal way. It should go. Why this unnecessary adjournment? I don't know if you guys understand it. Okay, you called him a criminal. You guys should try him without adjournment. Let's see what will happen at the end. Why are you adjourning the case? Since 4 years now. Let his case go the normal way. Let's see, okay, or do the normal, take due process, do the normal procedure. And let's see what happens. Why are you, keeping him there? That is just it. So let's take some of the comments. If you have anything to say, drop it in the comment section. Let's talk about it. So that's just it. If you have anything to say, drop it in the comment section. So the truth, what we're actually, saying is that let them release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. At least they should consider that he's a human being. At least release him and then negotiate with him. Something made that man to start agitating. Address the root problem. Address it, and there'll be peace. So guys, thank you for watching. If you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any breaking news, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good night. Rest.